Let's talk about body fluid compartments and cellular fluids. So, cellular fluids or body fluids are simply fluids which are found inside the cells. So, they are going to be found in different compartments. There are some fluids which are going to be inside the cells, which we call intracellular fluid or cytosol, and those found outside the cells called extracellular fluid or ECF. So the extracellular fluid can be interstitial, including lymph, plasma, and transcellular. Interstitial is a fluid found between two cells. The lymph is a fluid which is found in the lymphatic system. So if I've got blood moving in the blood vessels, blood comes outside the blood vessels, it goes into spaces, it's going to be now called interstitial fluid. If that interstitial fluid is supposed to be taken back to blood, it's first going to go through the lymphatic system, it's now called lymph, and then lymph going back into the blood vessels is now called plasma. So plasma is the liquid found in blood. It does not include cells. If we include cells, that is going to be called the blood volume, but this is plasma volume, just plasma, right? That's just the liquid. The transcellular fluid is a fluid found between special cavities in organs, for example in the heart, in the lungs, also in the eye, in the just in the spinal cord, which we call cerebrospinal fluid, even in joints like the synovial fluid. Now let's talk about how do we do calculate the total body water. So the total body water in a 70 kg man is going to be 42 liters. Now, how do you get to find that 42 liters? Total body water is given as 60% of the weight. This is specifically for a man, 60%. So if my weight is 70 kg, I'm going to multiply by 60%. 60 out of 170 kg, that will give me 42 kg. But because 1 liter of water is one equal to 1 kg, looking at the density of water. So if it is 42 kg, then that is going to be equivalent to 42 liters. Now, total body water is going to be affected by sex and age. In males, total body water is 60% of the weight. In females, it's 50% of the weight. That is because the 10% is taken up by the fats in females. And then for age, children have got more total body water than adults. The children have got about 75% of their body being water. Other things you need to take note of is that 18% of the total body weight is actually protein. 7% is minerals like electrolytes, sodium, potassium, and all these other ions. And then 15% is fat. Then, how are these fluids distributed in the body? So, ICF, the fluid found inside the cell, is two-thirds of the total body water. And of course, we know that total body water is 60% of the weight. So, where there's total body water, I'm going to put 60% of the weight. That is going to give us 40% of the weight. If we want to find ECF, we know that ICF plus ECF should give us a 60% of the weight. So if I know that this is 40% of the weight, I'll simply remove 60 minus 40. It gives me 20. Or I can say ECF is one-third of total body water. Total body water is 60% of the weight, and that gives us 20. Now we can find the actual value. So for a 70 kg adult male, we know that total body water is 42 liters. So where there is total body water here, I'm going to put 42 liters. That will give us 28. And then ECF will be 14 liters. If we add 28 and 14, it still gives us 42 liters. Now, the ECF we said is divided into plasma, interstitial, and transcellular. Now, transcellular is very small and its volume is going to be like less than 1%. That is because it's just found on small spaces in the body. For example, on the joints, on in the eye, so it is limited. That's why it is even negligible. Its percentage is like less than 1% of the weight. So for plasma, plasma is, of course, plasma and interstitial, all these are found in ECF. So plasma out of the ECF, which we already know that ECF is what? ECF is 14 liters. Out of that 14 liters, plasma will take 1 over 4. And then interstitial is going to take 3 over 4. So the liquid found in blood is less than the liquid which is found just on spaces between cells. So if we say 1 over 4 times ECF, but we also know that ECF is one-third of total body water. So that will give us 1 over 12 of total body water. We also know that total body water for a male is 60% of the weight, meaning that the liquid found in blood is 5% of the weight. Now, this is excluding the cells, just the liquid. The cells found in blood, for example, red blood cells, platelets, and white blood cells, they add up to 3% of the weight. So the total blood volume is going to be 8% of the weight because of the cells. And then the interstitial is going to be 3 out of 4 of ECF. And we know ECF is 1 over 3 of total body water. Total body water also is 60% of the weight. So the interstitial is going to give us 15% of the weight. If we add 15% and 5%, it gives us the 20%, which is of ECF. Right. So now if we want to use numbers, of course, plasma we have said is 1 over 4 of ECF. And ECF is 14 liters, so that will give us 3.5. And then interstitial is 3 over 4 of ECF. ECF is 14, that will give us 10.5. For a multiple choice question, we can also just give this as 11 if it came, and then this one as 3. All right. So total blood volume, we've already mentioned that it is 8% of the weight. That is because plasma is 5% and then just the cells is 3%. We can also calculate total blood volume by using this formula: plasma volume divided by 1 minus hematocrit. Hematocrit is just a count of red blood cells. Why do we use red blood cells? Because they take up the most number of cells which are found in the blood. If we add the platelets and the white blood cells, they'll give us less than 1% or 1% of the percentage of the cells in blood. And then the red blood cells will take up almost the entire of it. Okay. So we've summarized the body water as given here. Total body water is 60%. What is inside the cell is 40% of the weight, or two-thirds of total body water. What is outside is 20% of the weight, or one-third of total body water. And then interstitial is 15% of the body weight, or 3 over 4 of ECF. And then plasma is 5% of the weight, or 1 over 4 of ECF. Now, how do you get to balance fluids? So each day we are expected to take water a total of 2.3 liters. Now, of course, you might say they recommend 2 liters if we go to the clinic or something like that. So, out of that 2.3 liters, which is 2,300 mils, 2.1 mils is going to be eaten, or you are going to take, of course, the liquid, and then 200 mils is going to be from metabolism. So from the 2.3 mils, if let me say 2.3 liters, I'm going to remove 0.2 liters. So I'm going to remain with what? 2.1 liters. So this 0.2 liters is going to come from metabolism. The body actually also produces water. And then the 2.1 which remains is the one now which will be recommended, that we need to take 2 liters of water. Now, the 1 liter, of course, you are eating things. I mean, the 0.1 liters, you are eating things that have got water. And then the 2 liters, now that's the one we are just going to take, recommended, of course. So a total of 2.3 liters. And then the water loss again, what we are going to lose about 700 ml, which is 0.7 liters of water. Of that 0.7 liters that we lose, 0.35 or 350 mils is going to be lost via sweating, or from the skin. Let me not specify as sweating, from the skin. And then 3.350, which is 0.35 liters, is going to be lost via the lungs. So how is this divided? So sweating, you're going to lose 100 mils. From the feces, 100 mils. In urine, we'll lose about 1.4 liters, which is uh, 1,400 mils. So the minimum water requirement in adults is about 1.5 liters per day. Okay. So this is the daily intake, but this is the minimum requirement for survival. So if we get to have less than this inside the body, that might be a